hope you're doing well, and I hope you had an absolute blinding weekend. Despite no West Ham, of course. Despite no West Ham. It's weird, isn't it? Because although it's quite nice at times to have a little bit of a breather from football, especially when you've had a bad season, but and also the fact we've got injuries. So sometimes you take a little bit of advantage of it. Think, okay, we have a little bit of a break from football. But I've got to admit, when I watch the FA Cup, I'm always so gutted that we're not in it. I really am so gutted that we weren't able to. I think we should have brought in Potter earlier. If we'd have brought in Potter earlier, I think we could have well been in that competition longer. I really do, because if you remember, that was his first game, wasn't it? Aston Villa away, the FA Cup. We played well. I think he'd been there a day already. He made like a huge improvement. So yeah, I always sort of feel there's that part of me looking on, thinking, oh, that could have been us, and especially this year because a lot of the sort of bigger sides are out. I feel like it's quite an exciting tournament this season, and just a bit of a shame we're not a part of it. But I'll tell you what, it's still great to watch, and I did certainly enjoy watching football. It's just always in the back of your mind thinking, oh, that could have been us. Anyway, is what it is. I hope you're doing well, and I hope you had a really good one, regardless of that. Right, before we get into the video talking about Ollie Scarles, which is some pretty good news. Just want to say, if you're new to the channel, do subscribe. Free to do so. It takes 2 seconds. It does help us grow. And a lot of you watching this are regular viewers, are just not subscribers. So if you can go and check it out, follow us, I'd really appreciate it. Also, hit that like button. We are getting some good like volume now. I tell you, we're getting some really good numbers now, likes. So if you can keep that going, that'd be really much appreciated. Right, let's talk about Ollie Scarles. I'm very, very impressed with what's going on here, not only in terms of him as a player. I mean, my word, what a breakthrough season he is having at West Ham. I mean, my word, he has been exceptionally good, hasn't he, Scarles? I don't think anyone could have predicted him sort of having the impact that he has had this season. I mean, we've seen glimpses of it before. Obviously, we saw him when he made his debut, wasn't it, in the Conference League. He's always impressed when I've seen him play, but this year he is stepping into the realms now of a senior first team player, and he just doesn't look out of place whatsoever. I'm really, really pleased. Now, the tail end of last year, I think it was October, Scarles signed a new contract at West Ham to keep him at the club till 2028. Great news, really pleased with that, brilliant. And I think it was on Saturday, I was given the nod that West Ham were in talks to get a new deal for Ollie Scarles sorted out. And I thought, that can't be right. So I thought, well, we've just done one. I thought, that has. It's old news. You're telling me old rubbish. This is no, not buying it. This ain't West Ham. West Ham don't do this. But apparently so. West Ham are looking to give Ollie Scarles a new deal. And they're on talks, and they expect it to be all wrapped up by the end of this year. He'll have a new contract in place. Now, one, it's great news. That's what we want to hear. We want to hear that the club are working to keep our best players here, especially our young academy boys that are doing well. I mean, that's what it's all about. So I'm well pleased with that. What it actually reminded me of as well straight away was that it feels like a big step forward in terms of how we do things. I'm referring to Declan Rice. When Declan Rice had that, like Scarles, that sort of breakthrough, he started coming to the first team, and we all saw as fans early on, this guy's a star. This guy is going to be a top player for West Ham, and no doubt go on to be a top player for England, etc. We could just see it. I get the feeling with Scarles, and I know people will say, "Well, don't put too much pressure on." And I'm not saying he's going to go and be as big as Rice, but I get that feeling with him. I'm watching him play, thinking this is a really good player. This is someone that's got a really bright future in the game, as long as he keeps himself fit and etc. But I feel like there's a real potential. He's got some good people around him as well, Scarles, real good family and very highly rated. So I feel like when you go back to that time with Rice, West Ham really cocked up. We really, really cocked up with Declan Rice. And I'll tell you why we did, because we could all see, even though he was an academy lad and just come through the academy and just working his way to the first team, you could see his importance to the side very quickly. Despite him rubbing shoulders, with senior pros, and at the time he was still a teenager, you could see that he was better than a lot of them. He was a vital player to our team. Obviously, it took him time to develop to become the player that he is. Rice, I'm referring to, but you could see it from an early age that this is where he was going to be. It used to infuriate me that West Ham has sat on that contract of his for so long, and we all kept saying he needs a new deal. He needs a new deal, and West Ham went, no rush, don't need to rush to get him a deal. And I truly believe had we not have had that kind of approach and attitude towards him and the academy players, that feeling of, oh, they're too young, he doesn't need to be earning this kind of level of salary yet and all that, I feel we possibly would have kept Rice longer at West Ham. I really do. And I don't mean that to say, oh, you'd have stayed forever. I just wonder whether, because this went on for a period of time. It wasn't as if this was just a short time. This went on for a long time. West Ham were just so reluctant to offer Rice a deal. And I think by the time then you then come around to getting a new deal, a deal eventually in place, it wasn't quite, it already grown beyond the new deal. Or do you know what I mean? Already, like the deal he signed, he'd already, the salary wasn't quite matching where he was in terms of his importance to the side, because he was just developing so fast. And by the time then we were sort of scrambling around to try and get another contract in place, it was too late. His head had been turned, and I think West Ham just lacked that ambition and that love. And I do think it bit us on the arse. Now, I'm not, by the way, I really want to make it really clear, and I hate sort of these stupid disclaimers, but I just want to make it clear, I'm not saying that Rice never would have left West Ham if we'd not offered him a deal soon. I'm not saying that. I just feel like we possibly would have kept him here longer, because I feel like he would have felt more appreciated, more loved, and felt well, I don't need to be moving on. I just feel like it sows that seed of doubt in the players' minds, their families' minds, and things like that. And I'm really getting the feeling here with Scarles that West Ham have learnt their lesson from this, i.e., right, Scarles, we think there's a bright future for you here. Here's a new long-term deal. He signed it. Fantastic. And now we can see already he's on that trajectory to become well, let's be honest, he already is a first team player, but becoming like a vital first team player, someone that's the first name on the team sheet. Scarles, I think that we're already starting to sense that this is where this is going with him. So I like the fact West Ham aren't dilly-dallying with this. I'm a big driver behind it will be Mark Noble. Absolutely. He is someone that's, I imagine he probably feels the same with Rice, that he feels like West Ham cocked up. I mean, I don't know for a fact, but I imagine that is the case, because we all know it was the case, didn't we? We all sat back at that time when Rice was doing so well and developing fast, and that club just did nothing in terms of bettering his deal. And I know that eventually they did get to the table, as I say, but I just felt like it was all too little too late in the end. And this is where I'm really excited by this. So basically, the news is, this is come from Claret and Hugh, originally from Gonzo's talking about it on Hammers Chat Forum, is that Scarles is going to be offered a new contract, regardless of the fact he's just signed one a few months ago. West Ham want to get a new deal in place, and it'll be wrapped up, as I say, by the end of the year. The existing deal runs to 2028, so I'm guessing we're looking at 2029, 2030, something like that. But I'm absolutely thrilled. This is something that I think that West Ham have been so lax before, and we've not been on the front foot with player contracts. We had it recently, didn't we, with Lewis Orford? Again, very similar, where we sat on it. No, Lewis Orford's slightly different. Lewis Orford obviously hasn't broken into the first team, really. I know he's made his debut, but he hasn't become like an established first team player. I feel that will come at some stage for him, but he's on that path. But again, we sat on that deal, didn't we? They sat on that contract with Lewis for a long time again, and it feels like we just got to stop allowing it to happen. We've got to get deals done quicker, and this is, for me, is a massive indication of changes of how we do things, and I'm thrilled. Scarles has also done an interview with the official website, the West Ham website, and talked about Graham Potter, and he was, another one to add to the list of players that are praising Potter and saying the impact this guy is having at West Ham is massive. And he basically puts it down to a lot of his development recently season. It's down to Potter, how he trusts him, puts him in this position. He said, I love my new position in the club, and I being a left wing back suits him well, and Potter's just helping him grow as a player. This is a really, really exciting time. I'm really, really pleased. And I've got to say, like I look at Scarles, to be honest, and I see a future England player there. I really do. I think this is a really special talent that's come through our academy, and one that we can another player we can be really proud of. And I just feel like, because of what's happened in the past, we're learning our lessons as a football club. We're now on the front foot. We're the ones getting the deals done quickly. Get him signed up. Show him the love. Don't let him ever think that he's not appreciated, because I feel like we've done that, as I've said previously. And I've got to say, before I wrap this up, in terms of Scarles, by the way, if I think it's great news, I'd love to hear your thoughts on it. I'm sure you'll share it with me. This is very good news. It's Graham Potter about Potter's words, about Scarles, and he was saying that he said he just loves West Ham. He said he just that boy loves West Ham. He has a West Ham family, absolutely loves the club. I know originally that he came from the Chelsea background, didn't he, Scarles? But he said he absolutely loves West Ham, and this is what it's all about. He just wants to be here and develop here. So I think this is really good. I think this is such an exciting acquisition in terms of someone coming into our first team. I love it. I love to see that development from academy players. We all do as football fans, don't we? But at Scarles, it feels like now could be that next player, that next big star that we see come through our academy and then push on to be a key player for West Ham. There's no reason why he won't. I'm not seeing any signs of a player that I'm not quite sure this guy. You're like, no, this is a real top player in the making, and we could if we can continue his development the way we are, then I think he's got a seriously exciting future in his hands. So yeah, there we go. Scarles will be signing a new deal, and it'll be at some point this year. So it's not going to be next week, but it's going to be sometime soon. So obviously the club are now working on getting the package right and working on budgets, etc., and get something on the table for him. But yeah, very, very good news. We've got some other videos coming up talking about Jean-Claire Todibo, ex-WHU employee, is doing his update tonight. It would be at 4 o'clock this evening. So by the time you watch this, it'll be out and about anyway. So we'll do videos on the back of that in terms of transfer updates. Jonathan David is a player that we're very, very keen on at the moment. And I know some people will laugh at it, obviously with the links. He's got strong links to Barcelona, etc. But I'll tell you what, West Ham are in the mix. We are firmly in the mix. We are not taking it lightly here. We're going to do everything we can to try and sign the player. So I think it's very exciting. So yeah, there we go. Looking forward to this week. West Ham back in action, of course. But I think, it is this week, but it's Monday. So it's a week today. But this weekend of Premier League football return should be good. I'm looking forward to the Newcastle game. But so we have plenty more videos this week. But look forward to your comments on this one. And catch you later. Come on, your ones.